Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Half the Race Gone. My name is DirtenDK, and once again, I am here with the smooth Traels666.
Hi, guys.
Back from disease, risen from the dead like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was a great resurrection for me after a bit of struggles in the real life.
Earl struggles.
My name is Earl Struggles.
Struggles of Earl.
But it's good to be back. I was back racing again and had a great time doing these races, and I'm looking forward to showing them to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is gonna be a cracking race today. We are here for round 4. It is actually, I see that I wrote round 2 in the video. That's certainly not correct. It is round 4 of the TSR M3 WTC, and we are here from Brands Hatch. We're about to get ready to show you the sprint race, 5 laps. We are gonna get the drivers off the line in just about now. Whatever happened there. So on pole position we have Addy, followed by Raptor, Flickflock, Tron, Dad, Welsh, Traels, Whiteflight, and then T5, JC, Stick, and all at the back is myself after winning the 40-minute race last time round on Interlagos. And as we have Addy coming down towards turn 1, let's see if we can get the entire pack cleanly away. It looks like that actually. A bit of moves there coming up. Flickflock on the inside, going to take the lead, I think. Tron also keeping up nicely there with Dad in 5th, followed by Traels, and Welsh is up into P7 with Whiteflight also keeping his
What
pace.
a beautiful, amazing, such a smooth start we've had. Here we have a little bit of argy-bargy. Oh, and the curse hits! The curse of the commentator hits instantly.
As Addy
It's
goes
good to be back, y'all.
as Addy goes to both wrong sides of the track, maybe Welsh also being off, and there was contact also at the back. I think that was actually Dad or Flickflock getting taken out by GT Welsh there. That was Dad, 24DH, getting taken out unluckily by GT Welsh now at the front of affairs.
In the front, we have Flickflock having a great time here in the beginning. He has a big gap still. Alonatron and myself have tried to push that gap, and Whiteflight has made a lot of moves here in the beginning. He's pushing up as well.
So Whiteflight looking ever the competitive man that we know he is, and he has been streaming through the bunch here.
Flying through there, and you see he makes up most of the gap right away, and it's now a 4-way battle up here. There's a bit of a gap back to the rest of the field here.
A bit of pressure being applied to Tron there, but keeping his composure. Now coming down towards Paddock Hill for the second time around, first time flying, let's see, and it's almost 4 wide. Oh, Tron has a squirmy moment but manages to keep it.
He did a good job of squeezing me on the inside, but I broke late and actually just touched him, but he held it going.
And there is GAC now up into P6.
That's just about all the difference most of the field needs, and we have a bit of a connection here. So, oh, who went off there?
That was
Raptor having a very unfortunate moment. You see Alonatron wait for him, so it's obviously something to do with those guys. Very respectable move by Alonatron there, just waiting for his partner in crime in that incident.
And we've seen that actually every time there has been...
And just as we say that, we have another huge incident, and I get killed.
You were absolutely sideways there getting pushed. I don't remember by who, I didn't actually see. Now we have a 4-way battle coming down towards Hawthorns, and it is JC on the inside. Stick though, persistently holding on. Now getting accompanied by T5 Black, the Swede. As I make a move on the outside of JC and making it stick.
just on the outside of the track limits there. Nicely held by yourself. T5 having a bit of a nice route smoothly through, and he's in the slipstream now in front of you. T5, a guy who always has a bit of a calm to the way he drives. Even his passes are always super clean and super calm and safe.
As we see T5 applying the Rosberg squeeze upon me, giving me just the minimum space, and I return the favor on the outside there and take the position from him. Just
driving right from the beginning here.
What battling we have seen already here in the sprint race.
In the front now we have White Flight. What's happened to Flickflock here? There's been an incident once more. Flickflock has gone off. White Flight is now in the lead. He has quite a gap down to Stig, who in turn has a bit smaller of a gap down to the big battle we have at the moment. That's for third place here at the moment.
So T5 still putting on the pressure with JC joining along. Tron still not far away, and then we have another four-way battle in the midfield there. Flickflock, who had an incident before. Welsh, who also had a problem there. He had some contact.
Yeah, I believe by now he's had more than one unfortunate incident. He's had a bit of a struggle up until this point, and he's looking to make up some time.
Exactly.
Similar to me, I'm caught in the wake of a two-way battle here. There's not really much I can do. I remember flashing my lights, apparently not well enough because there was no space for me to get through, and I was just having to wait up here. You see me trying to follow as well.
As we have a yellow flag here, another incident. And there is T5.
T5 is off.
Third place in the championships, and this will definitely not be anything that will improve his chances of success in the overall standings there. T5 Black, hugely disappointing for himself to find himself up by the funnily named corner Dingledale. So JC in P4, and that I think we mentioned this more or less every broadcast, but that TikTok livery is lovely indeed.
Yeah, if I was to give out a prize for the best livery in the race, I believe this would be the one to take it.
Definitely, I agree. Tron keeping his wits about him here for P5. Flickflock now having to endure the pressure from the swift Welshman, having made his way up through the field, now battling for P6.
Watch looking to the outside, then to the inside. Is he gonna try to outbrake him here? No, he holds off for now.
As we see Flickflock just also, but going a bit wide, but also managing to keep the speed. Now Welsh has to...
Yeah, I had a look on the inside, and I think I scared Welsh a bit. He pulls off there, and I make a hesitant move. I was already hard on the brakes, so I wasn't supposed to go through there, so we lose quite some time to Flickflock. Flickflock just doing the right job and staying calm and picking those perfect lines, getting a nice exit through there.
So White Flight still in the lead up at the front. We have VRS Stick in P2 now, getting a little bit under pressure from myself.
Da-da.
Da-da-da.
Da-da. Da-da. Stalking the grey shark. The Blaupunkt shark. It's not really a shark, is it?
It's not really a shark. It's more. It looks more like a. I don't know. It looks more like some kind of terrier dog. To be honest, I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
So we have Dad in P6 now, still holding on, coming a bit under pressure from Traels.
Yeah, I think Welsh has had an incident once more because he should be in the mix right here.
Ooh, a very, very, very hard Rosberg squeeze.
Yeah, that was... I don't think he saw me, to be honest.
Oh, and then once
I think he was expecting me to go on the inside.
Returning
to that
favor.
line, yeah, I pushed into him a bit there, but I held off. We're off once more.
And of course, as we have failed to mention yet, but please do join us with your feedback, your commentaries, your general input and feelings of the race in the chat was what I was gonna say. As we take a look at White Flight making his way up, down towards Hawthorns there, seemingly getting a good exit there. But VRS Stick getting closer and closer. We are, however, on the final lap.
Getting closer and closer, but it's looking by now that it's a matter for white flight of just staying calm and not making any mistakes, because the gap is by far large enough that you don't need to do anything special to keep it here.
Yeah, he just needs to keep his cool. Let's see if anything develops more out of this battle here for a second. It seems as the gap is just getting closer and closer as we're coming through the 3 fast right-handers. Now DirtenDK, he's really gonna feel the pressure up towards the last corner here.
Already on that outside defensive line, staying to the right, making sure. Oh, but he opens up at the very last moment and you dive for it.
Oh, but he maintains the speed there through and gets early on the exit.
Wisely staying on the brakes, I think, a bit for yourself as well. That means we have White Flight taking P1, DirtenDK taking P2 with a nice defensive display in the end. You take P3, perhaps a bit frustrated at the end. JC and the lovely Tic Tac takes 4th place. Good job, sir. A bit further back now, it's Flick Flock coming up in the mid-pack battle here, taking P5. That's me in P6.
Well driven by Flick Flock to hold on to that 5th position.
Indeed, indeed.
Tron coming home in P7 with T5 Black, who had promises of a much better placing here at the sprint race, but Julie...
Quite a few guys back here that must feel a bit disappointed at that. Welsh, also a guy you'd expect to be in a more competitive position than this. I know he was struggling a lot during the race.
Exactly.
In 10th position we have... Oop, not that guy.
We have Dad coming home in 10th position with Raptor in 11th and Addy coming on his way to
and I haven't seen the spicy pink car before this race, so I was quite surprised. Good job, Eddie. It's a spicy one for sure.
Yeah, it's a nice pink variation of the Fina. It's a fine Athena.
It's a fine Athena, that's what it is.
And having said that, that concludes the first race. So really interesting stuff there. A lot of close, good racing on display.
Yeah, we were both very excited about racing on Brands Hatch. It's such a good course for slower cars. I think road cars are more like 90s or 80s touring cars or something like that. Well, 90s touring cars, those were fucking insane, but 80s touring cars.
Very much so, and it was fantastic to experience this on Brands Hatch, because personally I've always had a kind of a strange relationship with Brands Hatch, because on one side it's an amazing track, but driven in fast cars it's just really difficult to get it right. And when the cars go just that little bit slower, or just that amount slower with these old M3s in slightly tuned down actually as they are when we're racing them with the BOP. It just gives you the time to actually be precise and to think and to also enjoy the track.
Some of those weird dips and off campers in some of the corners, when you drive them in like more downforce oriented cars, it's basically just shitting yourselves all the way around, because you know that you're on a limit you don't even really feel. But in a slower car, it's more of it helps you have more of a dynamic, and it gives you more chances to take different lines and do different stuff. So it's a very, very nice track for these slower cars, and manual cars as well are really good at it.
And we have the lovely dog of mine, Stella, also wanting to join in, maybe because her beloved mommy is returning home soon. There she is.
Indeed.
Anyways, and hello to Stick in chat. Hello to T5, who's also there with us. Sup guys, lovely to see. Now we are ready to get rolling with race 2, the 40-minute race. Which for this, let's just have a real quick restart of that, because I have a bit of things to say about this one. We did change from our usual schedule of endurance racing, or the minute-based endurance race format, to a fixed lap because of issues with the Gran Turismo Sport. And
and we started doing rolling starts too as well. I don't know if you noticed. It evens it out a bit more, I guess, and it gives a bit less chaos at T1.
Yeah.
As White Flag crosses the line here, we have a race going.
We certainly do. It's gonna be 23 laps around the Grand Prix circuit here at Brands Hatch.
Always nice at Brands Hatch that T1 is a bit calm as well. You get through without too much of a hassle. White Flight decides to put it in the sand as I say that.
As you get
sorry, that's Welsh.
And you get a big dip there on the backside from Flick Flock, and that kind of ruins your move for P4. You were actually up the inside of the JC.
I'm back to P6 now, P5, sorry.
Still
further
White
back,
Flight.
it's still very close, you see. Side-by-side action already here. It's that all-Alonatron on the inside of that, making that move stick nicely. In the front, White Flight has had no issues so far. You and Stick are alongside here, but you're having to pull back in and back out again. Interesting tactics there.
It's just picking up where we left off in the first race, pretty much. Just battling out, and there will probably be a lot more of this to come. White Flight looking to get strongly away here on the opening laps. JC holding on to his 4th position, and then a big bunch of cars coming in right behind.
We have the Welsh leading it out from
Welsh already up into P5. That is incredible first lap for Welsh. He started in 8th position, mind you, and now he's putting on the pressure for P4. He has absolutely flown up through the field here.
Yeah, very, very strong display from him. I've had a bit of an issue, and I'm further back now. T5 is also making his way up in a calm and collected manner as I know him.
Oh, you go wide there.
Yep.
Get a helping nudge from Tron there.
Yeah, I hit Tron and I decided to wait for him as well. I saw him do the fair play earlier, and that was the only right thing to do, of course. So we go further back. Looking in the front now, White Flight continues to set a nice pace. Stick has picked up a bit of a helping hand, a bit of a gap to you. Further back we have Welsh just charging. Look at the way he's pulling everyone else along.
Yeah, everybody else really just wanting to stay along and keep up, knowing that it's gonna be a ticket to get up along with the front battle here, as Welsh just sliding in to Surtees and still is able to get on the power there.
T5 having a bit of a scrap there. They were side by side coming through that corner. Not normally a corner you'd like to be side by side through. The exit is so crucial.
Definitely so. I also see them losing a little bit of time now to JC, who's in front. Holding on to P5. The Belgian, who is very steady. We have seen this for multiple races now. Generally has very few incidents and is able to just keep pushing his pace along.
T5 just has a look on the inside there of JC.
And he also manages to make it stick. The Swedish survivor up into P5.
That's a brave move through there.
And just as he suffers the curse of the commentator, and he goes wide.
Why do we even do these things? We ruin so many races.
We've ruined all these races that were raced yesterday.
Oh, sorry, you guys.
Picking up the battle for P2 with VRS Stick and myself coming down towards Paddock Hill Bend. Now let us see. Stick keeps it very, very tidy there.
Can I just say, look at the gap Welsh has now put into the rest of the field in the back. You can't see them anymore. That's great, great racing from him.
Yeah.
What a great first few laps he's had. He came out of the box, made his way through the field, and on his first open lap he's at a 1:46.5. That's very nice racing. Good job, sir.
And mind you, this is GT Welsh, who on several occasions this season has had problems with his last all the way to the line.
Yeah.
Because at the Red Bull Ring he was forced to go into the pits late and also suffer a 10-second penalty. And an interlock
on the inside there. Sorry, I'm gonna have to cut you off because we have a battle taking place here between the two grayish cars in the top three.
Justified, just centimeters between. Very close here. And then through the kink into the left-hander here. Let us see. Generally
Oh, Whitefly had a bit of a moment there. He seems to have lost a bit of time.
And coming on to the 4th lap, it seems to be bunching up now at the front for the first 4 places. And this is a battle that we have not really had. We've had 3-ways. We've had lots of battles, 2-way battles for positions through this series. I think we have yet to see a 4-way battle as I come on the inside. There is Stick down towards Paddock Hill. Side by side.
You can see the lead on those cars. You're on the limit, braking as hard as you could and still pushing it through that corner. It's such a weird corner to take in any car, but it's so much fun in cars like these.
And then I get a huge moment on the outside and just lose the battle, courtesy of that. Certainly
Welsh
not what it
is
was
now in that battle because of your squirmy, maybe a bit too rowdy of a contest you guys were having, and he's now right in it. It's a 3-way tie here.
It very much is. Whitefly once more escaping out the front as we begin to scrab along just behind. JC still holding on to P5 with yourself in P6 Traels, and T5 now in P7. And behind him is Flickflog with Tron and Dad battling it out now for P9, I'm sorry. Addy in the pink Fina liveried car is in 11th with Raptor at the back. He is a little way back now at this.
2:08, he's had a lot of struggles on that 3rd lap.
Certainly so, on a 2:19 on the 1st lap. Also not a lot of luck for Raptor in this race now. Whitefly once more just going a little bit wide. That'll definitely lose him some time, and look at that Stick.
He seems to be taking advantage of the chance he has because you guys are battling, because he still has that bit of a margin. Stick managing to keep both of you behind him and actually still keep up with a guy that has a clean space in front and to the sides of him. That's a very good job on his part as well.
And Welsh just looking comfortable and looking he's looking like he has all the time in the world right now, basically, because he is in no hurry to overtake. He can bide his time, save some fuel, and make sure it'll last him the race. He has shown to have the pace, at least, if not to come in with some overtakes and battling, then if not to just run away. His Stick goes a little bit wide and gets company up the inside. We are both getting a little bit sideways there.
That's gonna cost all of you. Is Welsh gonna make a move here?
He is certainly gonna try. He's gonna be put on the outside by myself, trying to defend my inside line. He is actually with his nose in front, but he is not gonna be able to get the entire car past. And as we're side by side there through Hawthorne, still side by side.
But
Welsh goes
absolutely on the limit there. That's a theme of this track racing in slower cars, is staying side by side for like half a lap. Very good display of that right there. Nice driving. Now it's Stick and Whitefly in the front with a bit of a gap after that side by side. It looks great, but it's not particularly fast. So this might be Stick's chance to have a dig at Whitefly without too much repercussion of losing 1 or 2 placings from this in this close duel.
But look at that, the gap has all but melted away already.
Melted away. What a great last few corners you must have had.
Well, I also had a pace. I generally felt that I could have gone maybe even a little bit faster than we were going at this point, or this moment, but just wasn't able to get through. I've already made some references for this track, just like Tsukuba, it is sort of a Helm's Deep place where you can defend and defend and defend and defend, and only really get overtaken if some orc comes running into your wall with a pack of dynamite.
That's a lot of Lord of the Rings references, sir.
Certainly is.
But yeah, I agree completely. The difference is, of course, that it's still like a long skirmish, so it feels very intense and it's so much fun. But I agree that as long as you know where to put the car defensively, it is a very hard track for overtaking.
And I think DRS Stick here was showing masterful defending and masterful car placement all race through. He was just so difficult to do battle with, never giving an inch of space that he shouldn't give or that he wasn't inclined to give, and
We
really
have
just keeping it clean now.
Stick in the comments noting that at this point he was trying to fuel save behind white flight, and that's a very clever tactic. I'd question the tactic of letting us know in the comments though, to be honest, but good on you, that's a nice strategy, and I bet that worked out.
Definitely should imagine so here. As we have some kind of weird bug on the replay.
You'll now forever think you're looking at Stick if you look at the bottom left corner, but that's just GT Sport playing very poorly planned prank on us, I guess.
This is a new one. This is one we haven't seen before.
Oh, it's a one make. All the drivers are Stick.
It's a one stake race, and T5 Black is in P6. Flick is in P7 with Tron and Dad also joining.
I've been looking on the map here, and this is a three-way battle that's been going on for quite some time as well. We haven't had the chance to show you much of it, but they've been very close to each other pretty much all the race since these splits started to happen.
Now with Tron getting the move. Oh, Flick is cool there, just about cuts him off. And which of them gets the exit onto the straight here? It looks
like Flick got a pretty good exit, because you don't see all London making up that much time.
No.
He won't be able to do anything through here.
That was exactly my thought there. But now Tron is really close.
Line carried so much more speed than Flick through there. He had a chance to have a look, but that's one of the scariest corners on the track to make an attempt on.
It certainly is. Oh, up front we see it. I have had a problem.
Oh, darn man, shucks.
What you doing? And as you see on that 156, I have lost 10 seconds now. And it is gonna be an uphill battle from now on, for my sake. And what a horrible moment. But the battle's still going on for P1 here as Stick comes to the inside.
He has the inside. He's gonna have a bit worse of an exit through here.
I think White Flight is ahead for P1 there.
Looked like he had got a great exit Stick there actually, so that won't be too much of a bother for the next few corners. Walsh is still biding his time and just tagging along for now.
It'll be interesting to see if White Flight has any kind of response for this. We have seen Stick being able to both defend and then close the gap pretty quickly afterwards. Now we have another kind of situation for White Flight, as he is the one.
Yeah, and I think you can already see that car is being pushed a bit harder now. He's having to follow a pace that might feel a bit above what he's been doing for most of the race.
Yeah, that's true.
Stick also seems to be just edging ahead here.
As we have Welsh just getting a bit closer, it seems also.
Yeah, it might help him if Stick starts to, if White Flight starts to drop off a bit and help him close that gap up.
But to me, it looks a little bit like Welsh is playing it cautiously with the fuel, having learned his lessons from from previous races.
But you need to get in the slipstream to do that properly. That's the top tip in the comments as well.
That's true. That
Welsh slipstream.
Welsh quickly closing up a lot of space right there on White Flight.
Strong line, great exit through there as well. He's going to continue to close that gap up.
As they come here. It's status quo now. Stick having led for 1 lap in front of White Flight now. GT Welsh biding his time in 3rd position, looking patient as ever. And there is myself in P4 just fighting to close that gap that I created myself by making a huge mistake and putting it into the sand. Coming onto the back straight there. T5 Black now in 6th position with Flickflock in 7th still. Tron in 8th. Dad is in P9 and Traels yourself, you're down into P10. And now it looks like Welsh is actually beginning to catch up to White Flight in that front fight.
For sure, I think he's realizing the White Flight might not be able to keep up the pace here, and he might need to make that move now, just to not get held up behind him.
Yeah, because it definitely looks like Stick is just slowly edging away right now. Does seem to have the pace advantage at the moment. Now is Welsh gonna put one up the inside here. Oh, it just looked a bit closer than he actually was. And still not anywhere close enough to try and move here on White Flight, who also seems to get a good exit. That just gets squirmy there. Coming out of Druids. In turn get a very good run down through here, through Graham Hill. Still Stick just holding on to his advantage. We are on lap 10 of 23 now. So usually you'd see the race having settled in, but this race just doesn't want to settle at all. It just keeps on giving.
Absolutely not. It's a very chaotic race, and there's been a lot of incidents. And in the front, you guys.
White Flight having a problem there. It's certainly not going to aid him catching Stick now.
Tiny mistakes like that just keep changing the dynamic of the race.
And is that just a picture of White Flight, the Norwegian driver, just feeling the pressure a little bit at this point here? Welsh also has a big moment there, just about manages to save it. And we see him, incidentally, I think, I don't know if it was White Flight or Welsh who put on the turn signals there. Could have been both to signal something.
Yellow flags here.
Oh, that is Tron.
Tron had an accident. I was just looking at the map and saw someone went off. There was, to be honest, quite a few of these solo just going a bit wide on these right-hand corners. They are very tricky, and if you just touch the grass with just the outside tires, you're going to continue onwards.
As he also feels the problem of having dirt and grit and sand on the tires,
and
they just won't grip.
The challenge of recomposing yourself after dumping it. I think I do that quite a lot as well. Just
it happened to me as well. I put it in the sand twice because I put it off one and then was so just wanted to go fast instantly, and then I just push and I just went in normal speed, and you just cannot do that. You will go off, and this is of course one of the changes that were implemented with the new, I don't think it's that new anymore, but the updated tire model that came a month and a half or so ago.
Yeah.
If not a bit more.
Was it only? Yeah, I'd say like 2.
It is probably like 2 months ago.
Who knows at this point? Certainly not everyone on the internet might potentially watch this.
Now White Flight still holding on from GT Welsh in 3rd position. Looking at the map, looking like I am getting a little bit closer now at the back of this.
Yeah, you just set the fastest lap of the race here, 1:45.8, blazingly fast.
Yeah, I did settle into a rhythm once again. He's just fighting to close up that 10-second gap. JC composed as ever in 5th position, but now it's looking like he's slowly getting T5 per company. He is not far behind. The Swede can easily see him now in front, and he might just be thinking about catching up and having the Belgian driver for supper.
Coach team.
Might have had a penalty at this point.
It does it sometimes when you just turn to.
So
In
still
the front here, Stig is just doing what he's supposed to and setting nice, comfortable laps, not pushing it too far. Having said that, he actually set his fastest lap on the last one, on lap 10 that is. But yeah, just keeping in his pace, doing what he's supposed to. He doesn't have those squirmy, edgy moments like you see the guys behind have. Whitefly is doing a great job though. I agree with what you said earlier. It certainly looks like he's pushing and feeling the pressure here and trying to go absolutely as fast as he can. And you see him have just tiny moments all the time that let you know he's on the limit. As I say that, he sets his best sector 2 time, I believe that was, at this point.
I think
But he's been doing it for a while now, and he's had no major mistakes that has cost him too much time. Welsh is following along, though menacingly. Even though he set his fastest sector 2 time, Welsh is still right there in the slipstream, waiting and looking, and possibly still saving as well.
I think Welsh is still saving because he never really seems to close up on the straights. It's all action through the corners, as we see here coming through Paddock Hill.
Great line from Welsh there. He's almost tagged onto the back there. Had a bit of a loose moment coming out though, and that made all the difference.
Whitefly not getting the best of exits there. Still Welsh holding on the pressure. Might just be in the slipstream here. Whitefly goes defensively early, but then changes his mind and cuts over to the left of the track. And probably a wise decision, as they both utilize the entire track coming out there.
In the back there, we just had a short glimpse of you making your way still.
I just did a 45.7.
Yeah, you're absolutely on the fastest pace we've seen from anyone here today, trying to make up that gap. We are still only just past the half the race gone marker, so you still have a chance to get back in it and make it tasty here. What a race we've had as well. I feel like we're getting close to the end of the race and we're only 23 minutes in.
It is absolutely
Every
most...
corner there's something going on, there's something happening, and someone having a look, losing a bit of time. It's so hard to get a nice steady rhythm that there's always some dynamic going on.
Yeah.
What a great track for drivers, for cars like this. Also, it's great for the drivers as well, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be saying it, but yeah, it's so good.
Oh, it's Whitefly just has a bit of a moment there. Now Welsh is really up there for company.
I do believe this is the moment we're having to deal with the first bit of traffic as well. It's going to be interesting to see how such a close battle so far into the race deals with traffic. This is not normally a series you'd expect to have traffic in.
No, and especially we have had traffic through every race with just a couple of drivers getting lapped, but it certainly is a different dynamic than you are used to. Now my little dog just deciding to try and come and steal some of our shirts and stuff that were just lying on the table.
Look at this
Caused for a little break
double
there.
side by side.
Oh,
Raptor doing the best he can to stay on the right. Good job there, Raptor, getting out of the way as much as possible. Flashing from Stig in front. This is getting reminiscent of a multi-class series now.
Eddie just trying to get out of the way and also
good job there.
Getting out of the way.
Well. Oh, it's a squeeze now.
Oh, and it gets a little bit dangerous there
well.
and behind.
That was timed quite well.
That was, you see.
And I think we're good for the lead battle here. You're going to come along through those guys on your own, and that's going to be far more comfortable than what we just saw. So yeah. That's good. Definitely. It did space it out a bit more now. Welsh seems to have lost a little bit of time.
Oh, Whitefly just has...
That advantage is gone.
That certainly is. does seem to have a little moment here and there that just loses him whatever advantage he's been able to claw back, because he certainly did have the pace there. Wide flat once more, getting way wide into paddock hill bend. Now GT
the
Wells.
advantage is definitely gone.
Wells
In the distance where you could consider a move here. Just look at how much time you made up through those guys as well.
I just got cleanly through on the back straight there on the start finishing straight.
At the point where it helps you instead of being a disadvantage, so you gain time from doing that. And this is looking like it might go down as a 5-way battle now. It's
4-way
counting math.
Man, no, JC at this moment is a bit of a way back.
I was just bad at counting.
So it's still Stick leading White Flight, Welsh, and myself now tagging along the back once more. Having fought my way back. Really one of my best races ever, probably, at least up until this point. Bar these 2 mistakes, as I'm very close to getting hit by our own curse there. As we are also slowly just entering the finishing parts of the race now, with under 15 minutes of racing to go. So now,
Welsh, this has got to be one of the most patient displays we've seen. Normally in these cars, you kind of just go for it when you have the chance. He's been right in the same distance to White Flight pretty much all the race. Just as I say that, this is...
he gets another huge moment there.
Didn't seem to lose too much time from it though. He's still in the same gap. Just... Can he go on the inside here? I think he can.
I think he can.
Great exit he had there.
He's gonna launch one up the inside of White Flight.
The battle, please.
Oh, White Flight cutting back there upon Welsh. And that is a strong move from the Norwegian, letting Welsh through and then getting early on the gas. But their battling is gonna allow me to come back at them now. And in the meanwhile, Stick just slightly pushing his advantage out in front.
Yes, but not so much so that he's running away with it by any means. I mean,
certainly not.
This is such a close battle, and this even Stick, who is I believe a self-proclaimed smooth operator, isn't able to set that absolute dead-on solid pace that you'd expect of many other tracks. And therefore, when these guys side by side coming into the last corner, White Flight has the right line here. None of these guys are really able to make that much of a difference.
Oh, as Welsh looks as to be having a run at White Flight here up the inside, coming down towards Paddock Hill.
Going faster here. He's going to be able to just deny him, but he goes wide.
So Welsh goes through there, and White Flight also now going to have company there. And he spots that. That is a what? Oh. That is called shutting the door with slamming the door with some force. Oh, there I meant to move on there. Boom! As White Flight, having covered one, wasn't able to cover the left. No staff left for Gandalf there. As I take P3, getting a bit wide there. Stick just capitalizing on these skirmishes going on behind there. We have a little bit of spread now for once between the top four.
Absolutely, and it's looking nice and even as well, so that's going to be interesting to see. We are getting a bit of tire wear here because it's a very...
Was Stick getting squirmy for that? Right there, getting very, very, very shaky on the exit. Welsh also having a bit of a moment there. And Whitefly just trying to tag along, see if he can regain any of that lost ground from before. JC just on an island right now, still with T5 just
T5,
slightly
T5 and that have been pulling up towards him for a little while here. They've been closer together than this, but they're on a bit... What? On a bit of a steady grind here at the moment, but what?
That is a far way back. It is the car of the lap car of Raptor up in between there.
Could we have like different colored icons for lap cars and non-lap cars on the map? Just a quick idea, that would be great. Thanks.
Up on the mini map.
Yeah, on the mini map you could just have like an orange icon for lap cars. Thanks.
As we see VRS Stick sporting his reverse number on one side of the car.
Oh, amazing pace from Welsh here.
That is some... I think what we are seeing here is that Welsh is done saving fuel. Now he's giving it the full buck for the bang, and look at that move on the outside.
Holy guacamole, he sets the best sector time here as well. Oh, getting squeezed.
And
returning the favor.
That is some epic racing, and they're still side by side, and it's Welsh in the lead, but not for long there. He gets a little bit squirmy on the exit, still side by side coming down here. As VR Stick with the advantage on the inside.
Join the cacophony that is this battle. 3 cars bumper to bumper.
The racing is heating up here towards the finish line.
This is helping Whitefly as well, so what we're looking at now is the same 4-way battle bunching up once more.
With just 5 laps remaining, folks.
Oh, Welsh is just glued to Stick's behind. He's been glued to someone's behind this entire race. Why do you glue yourself to people's backs?
But he has been so patient, and he has also shown that once the opportunity arises, he is there to pass.
Absolutely. He got a bit of a poor exit.
I'm on the outside there, looking for the cutback. And I'm on the inside there.
Welsh just got a bit of a poor exit, and he was trying to go defensive, but you were wise and held off and did the cutback. Perfectly executed. Good job on you. Welsh gets a nice line through there, looking to make his place back, but there's no way to go around on the outside there, I don't believe. Nice shot there, PD. Good production value. Thank you very much.
Whitefly still just looking to take advantage from the skirmishes ahead. We're right now not really able to take full advantage of what's going on. As you see, just a bit of a gap developing now between Welsh and Whitefly. Even though not much of a gap in turn between the first 3 cars there, Stick, myself, and Welsh really close there. Welsh having a look. And Welsh is now literally on the bumper, having a look again there.
Bit of a squeeze.
just
letting him know you can try that, but it's gonna be edgy.
And once more Welsh with a flying exit there, as you see.
Yeah, you can see Whitefly is struggling to keep up the pace now. You guys are side by side through a lot of this looking and diving and ducking and weaving, and he's not really able to capitalize on the lost speed you guys have.
There's one more squeeze happening there on Welsh, a slight bit of contact.
This is hard, but kind of fair.
This is just on the line there as I come with a move on Stick there, and there's a little bit of pushing. Oh, a Stick goes wide and he hits me! Stick! No!
And you slam the brakes instantly. A nice touch from this series is the fair level of racing we have. Obviously, you're kicking yourself on that thing. It's obviously not intentional, but immediate reaction slamming the brakes. That's very nice to see.
Now, that effectively puts both me and Stick out of contention for the race win, so now it's a 2-way battle between GT Welsh and Whitefly.
Whitefly's certainly gaining something from staying clear of all that chaos there. Perhaps that was a bit of a tactical decision from him as well, just staying clear that tiny little bit. You never know.
It certainly
paid off for him if that was the case here. see the fallen warriors of Stick and DirtenDK. And that's not DirtenDK, that's me, you silly keyboard.
And can I remind you that both that I am leading the championship and VRS Stick is indeed second, so it is really drama upon the last laps, and we have had drama upon drama throughout this race.
Can we raise a brand hatch again next weekend?
Can we just
Wednesday? Next week.
We can stay the weakest day. No, Wednesday is a good day indeed for racing. Now JC patiently, having just raced his own tempo, he is maybe even the one who besides of course Welsh and Whiteflight, he also took a massive advantage from the incident with me and Stick, now having moved up into third position with just
T4 is into P4. T4 is into P5. No, wait. Opposite day. T5 is into P4, and it's actually I was kind of surprised when I saw this at this point, because he'd been struggling and he'd been unfortunate, caught up in weird accidents and stuff like that. But just calmly, without making too much of a fuss. He's that's P4.
You know, I call him the Swedish survivor, because that is just what he seems to do. Every time he has bad luck, he just comes back, and he almost always manages, even when not having his luck with him, he still manages to salvage something, and this is a really good showing. And he is third in the championships, and I also think that is a very good way to show
that he is. Now Stick's in the front here. Is that due to a pass after picking himself back up?
No, Stick was always in the front. I let him fly before, and I have caught up to him again. And now we're gonna have.
I did not know my brother.
Now we're gonna have
not seen.
We're gonna have one more fight. Are we gonna have a repeat of what happened before between the two championship contenders?
Just trying to close that gap for now. I know you're fast through these next few corners, but so's the Sticko. Yeah, just closing it up ever so slightly here. No way of really making a safe pass through here, and you guys are far back, and you must be considering if you guys can pick up the pace and make up some placings here. That's more points for you. Obviously, you guys are close in the race, but it's not over by any means. You want all the points possible.
So Welsh
is pulling away from Whiteflight just a tiny bit. He's at a 146 dead here almost, and that's very, very nice driving late into the race.
And with
with one shredded tire, a shredded front left tire, but that's the most important one on this track, so it still matters quite a lot.
It is. Certainly strong work here. Whiteflight just struggling to keep up the pace now. JC still in P3, T5 still in P4, and now there has been an incident, I think, or at least a pass. Stick has gone off.
Oh, that's not what he was looking for sure.
I think I just made a repeat of what we saw before. I had like a certain amount of good karma for this race or something, I don't know, or luck or whatever you call it, and by this time it was just out, and whatever I tried, it just seemed to come up all wrong. And if I'm not completely mistaken, I actually managed to push Stick off the track once more. I'm not actually sure if there was contact the last time around, but I waited for him anyways.
It's a shame we missed it. It would have been nice to have some clarification on that, but that is the nature of these transmissions, unfortunately. Yeah. I wasn't supposed to say, but
there is still a battle there going on between you and Dad for P7, and also now T5 is caught up with JC.
Ooh.
So here coming into the final lap.
Final lap battle for P3, guys. Swedish survivor is just stalking his Belgian prey here.
But he really has to think about...
See, once he realized he was getting close, he picked up the pace. He went from 48s and 47s to 146s here. Just trying to get the maximum out of the car.
As he goes there, just goes wide and loses massively out there. Just see the gap extend. And JC just keeping his cool, the cool Belgian as we know he can be and as we know he is. It's just you taking the position there from Dad.
Yeah, I took it quite a few corners ago. I believe Dad had a bit of an incident. We were battling, and what?
Oh, he's out of fuel.
He's out of fuel.
He's out of fuel. He is out of fuel.
Someone ran out of fuel this race.
Someone did run out of fuel this race. Welsh seems to be good. White Flight is even better. JC as always.
Even better still. He has too much.
T5 is also on the well side.
On the well side?
On the well side. Now
let's focus on the championship battle going on here. The two grey M3s we've seen so close so many times already this season. Are you gonna kill him again? Is that why? It's death. It's
Oh, I don't know what happened there, but once again you see me just
crazy corners trying to get it passed on through there, but it's final lap craziness, so
that's exactly what I thought.
As long as you guys are still on a friendly level afterwards, I guess it's all in good sports.
We certainly...
These are 80s touring cars after all, let's not forget. So in the front we've had Welsh cross the finish line. Behind him, White Flight takes P2. JC goes into P3.
And T5 in P4. And can we just say that Welsh has had a stunning race.
Absolutely amazing.
He started in 8th position.
Driver of the day for sure.
Flew through the field.
At the end, you let Stake through because you continued to kill him all the way through the race. Very nicely done.
I wasn't really sure about the last couple of ones. I see that Stake has also commented on it that.
Oh yeah, he mentions it might be the bumpy, the pushy weird thing where the bumpers have like the thing from the pinball machines that goes blink and punches.
It's true.
A weird dynamic in sheet metal that GT Sport has. Sometimes it's hard to tell, you know.
The battles between me and Stake for the first one, I did feel that I kind of 1 o'clocked him at the rear end, and that's why he went up there, and that's also why I stopped immediately. But the two others, I was actually kind of surprised to see what happens with his car, because I was really focused on giving space and not hitting him a lot. And sometimes you can rub, and apparently at other times you just can't. And
yeah, it's as soon as there's any kind of momentum to the impact, they just bounce sometimes, and other times it's fine. And it's kind of hard to learn what happens, which is really frustrating, because in this kind of car, you'd kind of expect some paint trading to be going on.
And hello to Game Buddy. Good to see you. Hello from Copenhagen, Denmark. And it seems you have tuned in right at the end of affairs here. But Traels, what a race you chose to return to here.
Yeah, what a great time it was. I've been missing some practice and stuff during the last few weeks, and it's been stressing me out because these are serious races we do, and you really need to practice. Nice detail that you can see I wore the wrong outfit for the race, by the way. But what an absolute pleasure to return to a race of this caliber where stuff was just going on all the time. And on occasions in this series, I really felt like I had a competitive pace, and some of the other guys were perhaps in a bit of a different class. This is certainly not the case anymore. I was fighting and having some of the best battles I've had in a long time, all the way up through the field. Because I made my way to the back at one point just to see what it was like back there. And what a great race it was! What a great track!
That was insane. It was completely insane. For me, the race also was completely insane. I binned it pretty early in the race there, 2 times in the gravel. And to be honest, there in that moment, I thought, okay, shit, this is over. But then when I got going again, I could see I was gaining, and they were probably scrapping a bit, and that gave me the belief that I could actually catch up. And when I came back up, I was just maybe a little bit overexcited, and because just having, I felt like I could do
But
more or less anything.
it's such a cool track in the way that you can like pull back from the pace when if you're on your own. You can pull back from the pace and do like a second and a half slower, and do it carefully and cautiously and steadily. But you can then, if you want to go like really fast, you really need to be on the limit and you really need to be on it. So no one really does that all season. It's going to be great.
It's certainly
all season. No one does it all race. And that's really, yeah.
Yeah, this was by far the most intense race we've had yet in this series. So let's just hope that Suzuka is going to be just as close.
Oh, I'm expecting so. And Suzuka is another great track for slow cars as well. And normally you see it used in real life for more downforcey, faster cars. But I've had so much fun in manual road cars before on that track, so I think it's going to be
with many long sweepers that really test your ability to feel the grip of the car. Suzuka is really a driver's track that way through, and I'm having great expectations also for that race. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So, I think that concludes our broadcast for today. It's been a true pleasure having you along for the ride. Thank you so much for joining in chat and making it that more interesting for yourself and for us as well.
Yeah.
It's been great to have you back as well, Traels.
Thanks, it's been great to be back.
Straight up. Now, we're gonna be broadcasting for you on Monday with, as always, with the Nuke Shot Endurance Series, and then do tune in also in a week's time from now to check out the race from Suzuka. I think we beforehand can promise you that it's gonna be a really nice one indeed.
We'd certainly expect so. So make sure to drop by for that. We're expecting it's going to be a Thursday transmission for the M3 series. So make sure that you come by.
Indeed. And we're on Twitter. We are on Twitter. So if you want to stay in touch, if you want to stay updated, and if you want to just be able to, send us a message about something or whatever, we are on Twitter, Twitter/halfrace. And this is also where we will be updating all our schedules and stuff like that, because it is just a little bit difficult to find a platform to be able to inform people on what we're doing that way around. Otherwise, we'll have to...
Absolutely. If any of you guys have some thoughts or ideas on a nice way to make sure that we can communicate what we're doing when, do let us know in the comments. Because that is a tricky thing. How do you unite people that actually mostly know each other through a PlayStation game? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I'm just putting the Twitter in the description, so if you guys are too lazy to enter it or go back and see what it was again, you can just check there. I'm putting Twitch. We don't have that.
We don't have, but Twitter is coming along. It is in the description
now.
So that concludes the broadcast. My name is DirtenDK.
I'm Traels666.
And you have been watching Half the Race Gone. Until next time, take care, have fun, and
good luck.
Good luck. Bye bye.